India? Anyone from the Middle East? You all can just type in the chat box or unmute, whatever works for you all. Anyone from the Middle East? Yes, no?
Yes, myself is Nisha. I'm
Nisha ma'am, hi. Yes.
Hi. Minu here from Abu Dhabi Indian School.
Hi, Minu ma'am. Is this the second time you're joining? I mean, have I seen you before?
Yes, both
Okay.
Nisha and myself both are joining.
Okay, wonderful. Ma'am. Thank you for joining in. Hello, Devanand sir. How are you?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, fine. This is
Maheshwari
Devanand from Dubai.
Go ahead, sir. Tell me.
Suni Chako.
Sorry, you are from where?
Sir, I'm
Dubai.
Maheshwari from Abu Dhabi Jam School.
Hi, Maheshwari ma'am. Thank you for
sir.
joining in. Yeah, Devanand sir, where are you from? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
From UAE, Dubai.
Oh, from Dubai. Wonderful. Is it the first time you've joined, sir?
Yes. This is my first time. Yeah. We
Wonderful.
are joining along with the Suni ma'am or Suni Chako.
Okay. Nice. Thank you for joining in.
Welcome.
Hi, Dr. Harini. Hi, Priya ma'am. So, quickly, maybe I can check with you all who all have joined for the first time today. If you all can just mention a yes in the chat box. If you all joined for the first time. Okay. Hello, Shiju sir. How are you? Okay, I think a lot of people have joined for the first time. Anyone second time, third time, fourth time? Anshuman sir. Yes, of course. From Lotus Valley School. Okay, multiple people. Great. So I'll quickly give you all a background of what are we doing. And I think in a couple of minutes we'll start. So my name is Dhruv, and in the gray shirt there is Nishant with the beard. So that's my colleague Nishant. He is the head of academics at Hackberry, and I manage marketing and sales at Hackberry. So this has been like a series since we've been doing it. I think this is the 11th workshop today, if I'm not wrong. So we've been doing topics like, first of all, everyone okay with English, or anyone wanting a swap, or Hindi plus English? I also speak Gujarati, so that's also possible. Everyone okay with English? So if you all can just say E or English or something, thumbs up or anything is fine. Only English. Okay. All right. So I'll keep it only English then. Wonderful. So we've been doing these workshops since I think almost 4 to 5 months now. So we've covered topics like how to teach programming using games, how to introduce AI in school, how to use machine learning using Python, which is topic for today, how to introduce machine learning in general in school. So our objective is basically to empower teachers. So when we do teacher workshops, when we do our trainings in schools, we have realized that teachers need maximum support and help and assistance to ensure that their knowledge is always up to date, because they are always at the end where they are doing the workshop with students, and it's important that they know everything what's going on in technology, because in technology every 6 months there is something new that you must know. In fact, every 2 months now. So our responsibility that we've taken on us is that we'll do our research, and every month we'll share topics with you all. So we have a community. If you are not part of that community, you all wouldn't know. So we have a small WhatsApp community. I'll share the link with you all so that you all can also join in, where I share topics and we discuss and we decide a topic for the next workshop. So after this workshop, maybe I can add all of you all to that WhatsApp community. Is everyone already a part of it? Anyone who is not already? No, okay. Danina ma'am is not. So I think a lot of people are not. So no worries. I'll share the link. Once Nishant takes over the workshop, I'll create the link and share it with you all. So the objective is there to share topics, what's upcoming. So every Tuesdays, there is something called as Tech Tuesdays, where we share one bit of information on technology. just so that there is continuous knowledge sharing happening and teachers are always updated with what's going on. And once a month we do such workshops that we're doing today. Okay, so it's basically a community sharing initiative that we've taken up. I think it's time that we get started. So I believe everyone, is everyone a teacher, or is there someone from the school management, or everyone technical currently today? Everyone who understands coding, or there's someone non-technical like me right now? You all can just mention in the chat box if you're not from a technical background. Accordingly, we'll conduct the session. Not technical? So when I say technical, it means that you all would know Python or you all would know the basics of programming. If not, then it's still okay. We can conduct the session in another format as well. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen. So we'll get started then. So are we recording the session?
Yes.
Okay, so Florin ma'am is unaware of programming. Fair, no problem. So I believe there are a few who are from a non-technical background. So what we're going to do is, last time we did a workshop on machine learning in general, and what are the platforms that schools can use, how do we introduce, what are the activities you all can do in schools. And I understand that a lot of you all are here for the first time. So what I've requested, Nishant, is that maybe in the first 15 minutes, walk us through what we had done last time. Would that make sense? Would that help? So just sharing the platforms, what activities you all can do. We'll share a couple of it, and we'll share a basic understanding of what machine learning is, and then get started with the topic for today. So then everyone can then understand what's going on, right? So and next time, we'll take it from here. So next time it wouldn't be machine learning. It would be a topic probably on AI or something like that. So that is something that you all can immediately implement in your classroom otherwise. Great. So I hope you all are able to see my screen. Yes. So that's me, and that's Nishant. I manage marketing and sales, and Nishant heads the academics and curriculum development. I must introduce Nishant because he has more than 11 years of experience. He has been a teacher. He taught programming in schools, colleges. Now he has students who are working in multiple MNCs and doing their own projects in cybersecurity, in IT, multiple things. And he's also developed curriculums for multiple companies as well as state boards. So I think he's the best person today that we could have to share knowledge on a topic such as machine learning, because he's a geek in that sense. He's always exploring, always knowing what's going on. And thank you, Nishant, for taking out time today. We'll get to learn something very new. Okay. So agenda for today is that we'll do a quick introduction. I think we've already done the introduction. I'm not sure if everyone knows about Hackberry. Does everyone know about Hackberry? Yes, no? Yes. Okay, all I would request is that you all be very quick in your yes, no's, so that we can have a very seamless experience. And that is something that we would really expect for everyone, to be very responsive, very quick. I'll not ask you all to write anything more, just a yes or a no. Yeah, so you all don't know about Hackberry. So I'll give a quick one-liner introduction. So Hackberry is an organization. It's a 7-year-old organization, and we have curriculum. We have like an end-to-end solution for coding, AI, machine learning that we implement in schools. So we have a curriculum. We train the teachers. We do assessments, and it's an entire LMS that we provide to schools so that there's a seamless curriculum and a teaching experience in school. Okay, so that is the basic of what Hackberry does. If anyone wants to know more, we can connect later after the workshop or something. So second is understanding the why for this workshop. So as I mentioned, we realize that teachers are at the forefront of what we stand for. We stand for technology. We stand for education, and we realize teachers are at the forefront. And it's important that every teacher knows what's going on. And since we had this realization, we've always strived to develop good content so that irrespective of whether the school is partnered with Hackberry or no, teachers should learn and keep learning through this initiative. About Hackberry, I already shared. So this is what we do. We are in multiple schools, thousands of students, and we teach coding, AI, machine learning through grade-wise curriculum. So the thought was, what was a computer class 20 years ago? So I always start with this question. So if teachers, if all of you all can share your answers, what was it? What was your computer lab looking like? So you all can unmute, or you all can just put it in the chat box. So for me, it was my favorite place to go because that was the only room which had an air conditioner, and we really loved that place. It was a very different experience. We used to play pinball, a little bit of Notepad, Word, Microsoft Paint is what we learned in that class. But what was it for you all? What did you all learn? What was your experience? You all can quickly put it in the chat box or unmute if you're not able to type. A room with AC, and we could play games. Okay. Florin ma'am, it was innovative. Okay. Anshuman sir, floppy drives, mouse with ball. Oh yeah, mouse with a ball. I know. Yes. What else? Any other answers? We get to go out of the classrooms from our general classrooms. Correct. Any other answers? Great. So, what did you learn? So, I had learned about the basics of HTML, basics of Notepad. I was introduced to a little bit of Microsoft Office in my ninth and 10th grade. What did you all learn then? Come on, you all are educators. You all must have learned something. Okay, Falguni ma'am learned about Corel Draw. Very nice. Oh, Unix, DOS, basics, logo. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, Binder sir is saying a place different from the whole school. I agree totally. Lauren ma'am learned about Paint, HTML, MS Office, basics, C++. Oh wow, excellent, perfect. So on that same note, you all would recollect from these icons. It was a MS. For me, it was 2000. Um, we learned Notepad, Pinball, HTML, all of these things, and I was introduced to Microsoft Office later on. But the beauty was that then Office was not so important. Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel was not really important, and not many people were using it like 20 years back. But the beauty was that because they introduced, we learned it, and today everything that I do, my entire life is around Microsoft Office. Do you agree? Everything. So even this PPT, see this. This is a PPT, and that term comes from Microsoft Office, and I work around Excel, Word, and that is all the tools that I use. And the beauty is that the school realized that these are the tools which are going to be very important in the future for these children. So let's introduce them in school. And they had the vision. So even when mine was a very basic school, even then they had that vision. So the thought is that what is it? And it's educators' responsibility to see what's going to be so important as soon as the children go out in the real world. So in 5 years, 10 years from now, what is it that you all think would be very critical for them to learn? What do you all think? We'll just take a couple of minutes on this and we'll jump onto the topic. What do you think it could be in next 5 years or 7 years from now? What should they learn today? Okay, Falguni man says AI. Oh, everyone says AI. Oh, Internet of Things, data science, machine learning. Okay. Augmented reality, virtual reality, programming. There. I think these are all the answers that we would want. Perfect. I think these are perfect answers. This is exactly what we also think as being into technology and education. We also feel that the P6 students should understand programming, should be able to speak to the computer and know the language. It's okay if they are not programmers, but the point is that they should understand this language to be able to move ahead in life and have a good conversation with others. And these are the basics. And hence, this is our vision that we would want to introduce um, all of these platforms to teachers and in schools. Okay, so computer science now is basic. So using Scratch, HTML, JavaScript, Python, AI, machine learning are the things that we must teach. If we are already not teaching, that we must teach. And we must at least create a platform for students so that they can take off whenever they have a chance. So today, now let's jump on the topic. I know I've taken a lot of your time. So let's call in Nishant. Nishant, please throw some light and first of all give us some background on machine learning. Walk us through some examples and how to do it using Python. Over to you, Nishant.
So hello everyone, and hope you're having a good day. And that was a very nice introduction by Dhruv. So let us try to understand that what machine learning is. It's a buzzword now, so we get to hear it every now and then across the social media and everywhere. But since this is a good community of teachers and good gathering of teachers here, we can try to see it from both the angles of being technical as well as non-technical aspect. And the major perspective, point of view of doing this explanation is that how would we as teachers would introduce these things to the students is what we are here to learn, because we do see a lot of pathways and roadways and which would be the best one, or how would you get these students introduced to these concepts. Okay, so I'll just share some slides and we can continue from there. Okay, so this is machine learning with Python. For now, just to gather like idea, the topic would be machine learning with Python. But before that, we already know that Python is been into curriculum into a lot of schools. Like a lot of curriculums or a lot of boards do encourage teaching Python to school level students. And so, can you guys share any topics of modules or any libraries which you focus on teaching in school for Python, not related to machine learning, not related to machine learning, but what do you teach in Python in your schools, say, and which grade, probably if you can mention, like ninth grade or 10th grade. Generally I know CBSE 9th and 10th has Python. So there are other boards also doing this. So do you guys want to share any module or any topic which you teach uh, in your school? So it can be a simple module also, like you teach the math module in 9th standard or string module in 9th standard or something like that, which you want to share.
Yeah, they are sharing it.
They are sharing. Great. NumPy pandas plot. Correct. Great. Okay, random. Nice. Correct. Functions, collection, data types. Correct, correct. So it is very nice to understand that a lot of curriculums will have basics of programming as well as something related to something which is exclusive to Python as well. Correct. So if you see a basic program, if the school students are getting introduced to programming for the first time, they will have to learn basics of programming, like like Advent sir is saying, declaration of variables and looping and functions and collection of data types. And so that part is already there. and there is some part of Python which is exclusive to learning different libraries, like what pandas library does, or what numpy library does, or what catboost does, matplotlib kya hai na? And all these libraries will have different purpose and everything, and it might be very difficult to for the students, or for the teachers to introduce everything at once, and for the kids also to learn everything at once. So first thing is that students being at the age of, let's say, in grade 8, 9 or 10, the students need not be an expert programmer, right? But to understand that knowledge, or to to have that knowledge, is what we are trying to impart into them, right? So maybe they are on a roadmap to become an expert programmer, or to learn coding in an expert way. So we are setting the path for them. Okay, so these are definitely good responses which you have shared. So before going ahead, let us recall, let us try to understand what is machine learning and how it exactly works. So in my last session, we did some experiments which I'll share it today again, that that will help us understand what is machine learning, and definitely you guys can use these tools in the schools so that students can understand what is machine learning, right? So in general, we all know that what is machine learning. The name also is quite clear, and the concept is, I hope, is very clear to all those who don't know. So machine learning is a technology which will enable us to write codes, or us to write programs which will help the machine to learn to do things. Okay, so we can teach the machine, we can train the machine to give us expected outputs. Earlier, the traditional coding, which does not involve machine learning, had a fixed structure of coding, right? And it used to give us proper code, or if you tell us to print 5 lines, it will print 5 lines for you. But then machine learning, on the other hand, is, which we are doing right now, will tell us to understand, we can train it to understand what we are trying to ask, what we are trying to do, and then it will work accordingly to what we are expecting it to do, right? So doing that, let's try some experiments using which we can introduce machine learning to the students, right? So Google has this like amazing set of experiments, right? So this is one of such experiment. Can you see the screen? Yeah, it is called the infinite drum machine, and you can use beats from around the everyday world, right? Create beats using sound from around the everyday world, and I'll just show you how it works. So if you can see every dot over here in this cloud of dots, there are different colors as well. We'll talk about colors later. Each dot is a sound which you can hear in daily life. So this is not sound played by any instrument, or this is not sound played by any machine or something. This is a sound which you can hear in your daily life, like cowbell, or a boxing gymnasium, or a can metal tape like this, correct? Or some sound from here, right? This is the hard cover, like that. So all of these are different sounds, and we have a huge collection of them, correct? This is a camera, and there's a metal taper, there's a bottle spray, is axe. Okay, so what machine learning is doing here is, it has collected, we have the experiment, what the experiment is doing here is basically they have collected all the sounds here and created a huge data set of these sounds. It's a huge data set, and using machine learning, it will try to train a model which will try to make a rhythm out of it, and it is also giving us the control of the beats. Okay, so each dot here is a beat, and we can alter the beats as we want. Okay, so I will play the beats, and let me know if you are able to hear this properly, and is it making a proper beat or not. Okay. Okay, so were you able to hear the beat, or a proper beat sound, right? So this was the idea, that you can make beats. Also, we can change the beat sequence and add more beats into this sequence. You can change your sounds as well while the beat is being played, or things like that. Can you put this? We can add more beats wherever required. Okay. So I hope you are able to hear this and you now understand how this works. We have this huge filter of all the categories of how the voices are categorized. There is also color categorization. Also, we are able to see this like antiques are green and bluish in color like that, and mediums and metals are blue in color. Gardening is steel color. Tools are yellow color. uh, Open outdoor paper are red in color. And so you can filter one of these. Say glass. So all glass related sounds would be available.
So Nishan,
Hmm.
can
Yeah.
you share this URL with everyone, and maybe would you all want to just check it out? This is open source, yes. Would you all want to just give it a
Hmm.
try?
So yeah, we can share this. With, I'm sending this URL on the chat. Maybe everyone who is on the computer can try this, and if anyone is like able to do this, we can also
Share. So what I
share
understand,
it.
Nishan,
Yeah.
is that as part of machine learning, what Google has done is it has collected like crores of sounds and it has put it
Yes.
in a repository like this, and now it has made the machine and entire data available for us to create a rhythm of
Yes.
how
Yes.
we would
Yes.
want to create.
Hmm.
Okay.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So y'all can give it a try. Maybe just take a couple of minutes, and we wouldn't want to extend this too much because this is just basically a recap of what we've done earlier. So do you all want to give it a try? Anyone? Anyone who's trying it right now? And you all can, someone, I think from the previous session, they created an Arabic sound, and which was actually sounding Arabic.
And
So
Arabic.
yeah, and he was also from the UAE, so I don't know how he did it, but would you all want to be creative here and give it a try? Is anyone trying? Then we can probably wait for a couple of minutes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Not sure if someone's trying and going to share. Should we move ahead or should we wait for someone to try? This is a good thing. You all can try it. Just a 1 minute
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Even I did it.
Mhm.
All right. So we'll move on. This was one of the experiments.
Hmm.
Let's move on
Correct.
to the next, Nishan.
Yes. So this infinite drum machine we already saw. Everyone is about this game, the classic snake and the food game. Yes. No. Okay. Hmm. So we'll now see this game, the classic snake and food game, and we all know that how it works. And there is a snake, and it's trying to eat the food. So here is a JavaScript version of the game. We are using this library called p5.js. This is just an example which we can use to showcase to kids that how machine learning would work. But before going, ahead about how this would work in machine learning, I'm showing you the classic game first, and at the end of the session, we can try to layer it with how machine learning would take over this game. Okay, so we know that this black color thing is your snake, and this red color dot is the food, and I'll play this game. So right now I'm controlling through keyboard. So if you see this line of code here, keyboard control is true. So I'm controlling through keyboard.
And can you also mention about the libraries that you use so that teachers can
So
also know about?
yeah, sure. Hmm. So we all know this, like this is a JavaScript code, so we don't need to get into the like exact code of how it was made and all right now, not in the scope of this class. But for now, we are just trying to understand, that these games are there and they are existing. But we can definitely use machine learning to bring a new aspect of learning these games, right? Correct. So we know that these games work and all. Towards the end of the session, so we are using p5.js library here to create code for Snake, how the Snake works, and create p5.js library helps us to create sketches and draw things using JavaScript, right? So we have CSS as well, and JavaScript is basically doing all the part. So moving ahead from this game, at the end of the session, we'll try to impart machine learning into this game. Okay. Then some machine learning libraries for Python. Right. Next topic would focus on, let's say, we all know that there are some libraries which Python uses, and there are like lots and lots of libraries, right? But there are each library will have its own purpose and a use case and different implementation purposes, right? So are there any particular libraries which you guys are aware of, or like I think some people have already shared uh, pandas library. I think some people have already written what is pandas library, and correct, numpy already has written. Yeah, so any other library which you are aware of? There are a lot of them, and we are not expected to know everything, but any of this which you would like to mention? Okay. Hmm. So now that we all know that there are machine learning libraries, I would like to take this concept ahead, saying that let's explore some few libraries of uh, Python, that can actually help with machine learning, and we can just try to understand what are the different purposes for this library. So if you see, the names highlighted in red are the names of the libraries, and these are some 5 random examples of these libraries which I have picked for today's session. Okay, so sklearn, that is scikit library, which will definitely help you best in classification and regression, right? So classification and regression are the two techniques which mostly students can start their learning from, and understanding how machine learning would work. So that would be a first one. TensorFlow, Keras, this would also be another two libraries to implement deep learning for the students. So those who are aware, that is fine. Those who are not aware, you can use this as a reference, and as a reference point to start understanding or start introducing these libraries to the students. PyTorch and CatBoost. CatBoost is a great library to create applications where a lot of categories or gradients are involved. So if you have a lot of data which needs to be categorized, gradients to be created, I think CatBoost would be the library you can refer for. And obviously there are many other libraries also which can be explored. Obviously example code or sample code of this library, or of each of these library, might be out of scope for this session, but we can try to explore maybe sklearn just for a few minutes to understand what sklearn does, and how can we introduce these to kids, right? So let's explore sklearn and classifying data. So given two data sets. So here what I'm trying to do is we are trying to study a use case where we can analyze the sentiments from a given statement, right? Whether it's a positive statement or a negative statement, just to start with. You can call this a sentiment analyzer, right? So once a statement is given, it will tell you whether that statement is positive or negative. And as a general programmer, like even if you don't know machine learning, how can you still do this? Correct. So first we have to teach the students how to do this without machine learning, and then show them that how machine learning can do this better than us, like what we general programmers would do, right? Then they would understand the importance of using these libraries and implementing them. So initially we would take up few sentences. Like I have written some sentences here that we love you, they love us, you're good, is good, they love Mary, and these are positive sentences. So I have created a list of these positive sentences. Then negative text, we hate you, this they hate you, and also negative sentences we have listed down. Now for a general programmer, it would be very easy to create if else sentences, right? If else cases banake, they can categorize these sentences, right? So if you find words like love, good, है ना, then they are positive sentences. If you find words like hate, bad, then they are negative sentences, right? So we have a sample for that as well. See this. If you can see it very clearly from this code as well, that you can create a function called manual classify, and then manual classify will recognize sample text, which we teach maybe in schools as well. Like school curriculum has strings, right? String handling and all. So string handling will tell you to pick up strings from a text and check for strings inside the text. So that is maybe like a traditional classifier sort of thing which we can make without using any library. Correct. So there you would be just using basic string, basic code, and no other libraries for machine learning. Now this becomes a traditional classifier. Now if you ask the student that what was the data set you use and how many sentences it had, now if they run this code, they will definitely get an output that instead of the array they will get positive negative as a statement. Now if we ask the student, or even if you guys are the student, and if I ask you that what was the data set, you would say it was 5 statements, some would say 10 statements, and maybe if someone is doing exhaustive testing of this code, then someone would give 20 statements, right? But then in real life, classification of data and real life sentiment analyzer would not have 20 statements. It would have millions and millions of data sets to go with, right? So around terabytes of data would be there. So would our code be efficient enough to do that? It can do that, but then it would take days to classify the data, right? So an efficient code would not take days. It would just take seconds to classify it. That is the difference. So these libraries and the concept of machine learning comes here. Okay. So now how do we like make this into a machine learning thing is using sklearn. So what sklearn would do is give a number to each of these words which we want to classify. Okay, so let's say I would give a sample number to the word called hate, a sample number to a word called bad, and then all the words related to hate and bad would be categorized under the same number, and it would form a cloud of those words. This you can relate to the infinite drum machine sounds cloud which you saw earlier. Okay, all the similar sounds are grouped together under same color to visualize. Correct. And all those words would sound the same and look the same. So the same sentiment analyzer would also do the same, that it would classify those words and all those numbers would be associated to this. So that is the concept what we know as vectorization of data sets. Okay, so vectorization basically means that everyone knows what is a vector, right? We create a pointer towards a data point, right? A vector is basically a pointer towards something, right? It points towards something. So here what we are doing, what we try to do is create a vector for each of the words which are similar in sentiment. So hate related sentiments will have a similar group of vectors, and maybe love related sentiments will have a similar group of vectors, and some other sentiment and some other sentiment, and each will have their own clouds of numbers. And then accordingly, when a data set is fed to it, it will match the words with those sounds, or with those sorry, not sounds, with those numbers of the clouds, and then it will show us that how it would work.
Nishan,
Right.
if I can ask you to pause for a second.
Mhm.
I just wanted to check. So is it making sense, everyone? So even to non-technical people, understanding the concept, yes, no. Any questions until now? Or basically, what are the libraries that Nishant is talking about? Yeah,
So for now,
what is sentiment
yes.
analysis? Would you all understand? Or if you all have any questions, no, please barge in or just mention it in the chat box so we can take it up as soon as we have a pause in between.
Yes. So I'm trying to keeping it like non-technical.
Understood.
Like,
because I'm able to
because,
understand. So I think
so that everyone can get into the train and train of these thoughts and understand that what we are trying to establish. And basically it's better for the students to understand these things first rather than just simply writing the code. Yeah,
great, understood.
great.
I think everyone is with us right now.
With us, yeah, everyone is with us. So great. So I'll just move one step ahead. So now we understand that there can be a traditional rule-based classifier also, using if else or switch case or whatever you want to create a rule-based classifier, that if this is the rule, you follow that rule hard and fast. But then machine learning model will have its own intelligence. That's what we call artificial intelligence, and it can judge based on the data it was trained for, right? So we will give it a lot of data, we'll give it a lot of learning, and then it will judge based on the given set of inputs. Now then this kind of machine learning model will definitely handle more data more efficiently. Okay, so let's switch to a code which actually shows what I'm trying to say. Right? So here I'm using one compiler if you can see this. So one compiler basically has some sklearn related imports already there, uh, which we can definitely use. This code I will definitely share with everyone for understanding purposes, right? And I mentioned a lot of comments also, right? Like there are healthy amount of comments for everyone to learn and understand what is going on here. So just to give you a brief idea, so these are the positive text I was talking about, these are the negative text I was talking about, and these are the testing texts. Okay, so these are the text I want to test, correct? And once we combine them, we combine negative and positive text and into training texts, correct? As I said earlier, that we'll give a number to each of them and we'll combine them. And then we are using a vectorizer to give a number to each of them, right? So it might map bad to 0 and love to 1 and you to 2, like that. And in the output, like once we run this, you will see this output, that how a number was associated to all of them. And there. Okay, so I'm not going much more in depth into how the code would run, but we have given it a general idea also. A manual classifier also is there, but we are also using vectorization from the sklearn library to classify this as well, correct? So if you see this output right here, okay, so it is classifying my statement that v is used 10 times and then hate is used this 3 and all, like that, right? These are the random numbers given to it, and it is also categorizing the sentiment, correct? So if you see they love Mary, so positive, positive, like that, correct? They are good, so positive. And why do you hate Mary, so it's negative, correct? They are almost always good, so it's positive, and we are very bad is negative. So we get an array of things getting categorized according to what we have trained it for. And this is what we can use as a starter code to understand how you can do a sentiment analysis. A much more realistic application or a real-time application would be having a code that would take data from inputs of comments of a YouTube comment section or a Twitter comment section. You feed it a Twitter link, a link of any Twitter post which has a lot of comments in it, and then it would categorize the sentiments based on the categories you have decided. So not only positive, negative, you can create happy, sad, angry. You can categorize, train it first, and then feed it data. So this could be used as a starter code for kids to understand that how things would work. Going ahead, so this was fine. Like, did everyone get the idea that how sklearn would categorize data and sort data for us? Correct. Great.
So what would
So,
be the application in terms of, one is the comment section. So maybe to analyze. So how would YouTube use that, or how would
so
Twitter
let's
use
say
that?
not YouTube, but let's say if I am an organization and I have posted a YouTube video recently, and or maybe I posted something on Twitter or LinkedIn recently, and I have started receiving a lot of comments, but I don't know whether they are good or bad, and I don't want to spend time on reading them. I would just copy paste the link of my post or the YouTube video to the sentiment analyzer, and it will analyze the sentiments for me into happy, sad, or things like that.
Okay, I think a couple of teachers have questions. Jyoti ma'am, you have a question? Yes, no. Miss Florine, do you have a question?
Yes. How will it
Yes.
help our students in the school? Because we are having a school of primary and secondary, that is from first standard to 10th standard. So how will it help our kids? Okay, I'm not talking about primary, but
No,
secondary at
I
least. How
understand.
will
Understand. So secondary students who are learning Python, definitely they will learn to implement how these libraries work, right? So if they are their intention is to learn how machine learning works, this would be one of the features of machine learning, or one of the applications of machine learning which they would learn. So sentiment analyzers and these kind of products are available in market and being brought by a lot of companies to analyze what their posts are doing, or what kind of comments they are receiving, what kind of feedbacks they are receiving. So every company has this mechanism of sending feedbacks also, right? And they got a huge database of feedbacks as well. So those feedbacks are also getting analyzed, and kids definitely get to learn that how would this be used. Now, this is just one aspect of how these libraries can be used, right? So there can be different and multiple applications of how all of these libraries can be used. So in school, with the limited amount of time we have and with the limited amount of resources we might have, this is the least which you can give it to the school. And if you have less, if you have more resources, then definitely you can do more with the kids as well. So basically, this would be more suitable for kids who have already learned basics of Python and basics of JavaScript. If they have learned, then they can start learning this immediately.
And also to answer your question, Ms. Florin, so learning this in primary might be a little difficult because they should have a little background of Python and understanding programming. So
Yes.
this might not be the starter for them. So for them, there are different things that we can do to introduce technology and programming. So there you can use Scratch, and there are multiple app development platforms which are age appropriate for them. And this is ideally for secondary students who have some background in programming, and now they can really add layers of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and such technologies to improve on what they already know.
Yes.
Okay, so basically y'all are saying that they should have a prior knowledge about it, then only they can implement this particular.
So basically,
Right.
in machine learning, this particular topic, yes, ma'am.
So
Thank you.
prior knowledge, as in that what we are trying to like implement here is machine learning using Python or using JavaScript or any technology would require at least say a basic set of programming knowledge. Then only they can come here. Like machine learning would not be like without a prerequisite. That's a prerequisite of basic programming, like if else functions and a basic set of programming like that. But it is also classified age appropriate as well. So kids maybe say between 1 to 4 can use Scratch. Between grades 1 to 4 can use Scratch. So if they know Scratch, how to use Scratch, they can use Scratch to build AI related stuff. So that it can be a Scratch with AI related course as well. So first, maybe they will have to go through a prerequisite course of how to use Scratch. Then they can jump into the course of how to use Scratch with AI, like that. Similarly, you can have a course for grade people between grade 5 to 7 of that age using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Because most of the schools are teaching these HTML and CSS stuff. They can learn JavaScript. Once they have learned that, they can start learning machine learning using that stuff as well, like that. So it's a progressive thing and can be done with all the ages.
Does it answer your question, Ms. Florin?
Yes, thank you so much.
Sure. Jyoti ma'am, you had a question.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so all good. Okay, so all good for now. Should we go ahead with this part called Google Teachable Machine? So about sklearn, I think we discussed enough that how these libraries can be used, and there are a lot of libraries, as I said earlier. Coming back to the part of the snake and the food game, right? So I told that we know that the snake and the food game works nicely and how it works. We saw how the snake and the food was working. There is a part called Google Teachable Machine where we can use machine learning to implement machine learning into the snake and the food game, right? So any suggestions or any ideas people have already, or then if it becomes a bit monotonous if I'm the only one speaking, so anyone wants to speak up, like how can you implement machine learning into this game? The obvious hint I've showed displayed here is Google Teachable Machine. So any idea or any suggestions anyone has, you can share. Otherwise, I can take it ahead. No problem.
Or are you all doing it in school in some way? And please share with the community. It's all of us learning from each other. Oh, Supriya ma'am, you all are doing it.
Great. So those who have been already doing it, great. So just give you a short brief of what is teachable machine. So this is teachable machine. The site is here. It's an experiment by Google, and now that it's not an experiment anymore, it's the platform to create models, right? So it will help you to create your own models for image classification, audio classification, poses classification as well. And here specifically, basically the snake has to be controlled, right, in the game. So the snake can be controlled using images, audio, maybe poses as well. Right now I'm using audio projects, source, audio source to control the snake. So I will speak and let the snake control. Okay, so you can use images as well. You can use poses as well. You can pose right, left, or however, and create a pose related projects as well. So we have already trained a model here. If you want, I can show you the model. Just a second. Can you see the screen? So this is a teachable machine model which we have used here for training the snake, and based on the words which I will say, the snake will move like down, 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 down. Correct? Up, 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 left, 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 left. Okay. So and the background noise is whatever it will hear other than these sounds. Correct. So we'll use this model and come back to our snake and this code. So this is the code for snake and this is the code for snake and food. Yes, we will turn it to true so that it will keep it false now, and so that it does not use keyboards.
Just for the people who joined for the first time today, did you all understand the teachable machine? I mean, what did we do there? What did we train it for? How did we classify using voice? Did you all get it, or you would want Nishan to kind of explain it again?
Yeah, if anyone wants to spend time on understanding how to use it exactly, we can make one right now and show it to you as well. Should I?
Yeah. Everyone understood? Yes, no. So basically, last time, Nishant had shared that there are multiple types of classifiers. So voice is one classifier, image is another classifier,
Like this.
gesture is a classifier,
Yes.
right? And so right now, what Nishant is using is voice command as a classifier and training the machine to understand that. So I'm
Right.
assuming that everyone is on it. Yes, perfect. Okay,
Correct.
Nishant, I think we can go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So we'll now go ahead with this part. So they're waiting, it will start listening to the audio here. Like I'm not training the snake right now, but here I'm showing you the samples which this listener is listening. Okay. So the program is listening these sounds right now. Okay. So a lot of sounds does get classified as up, right, down, back, whatever it wants. Okay. So where should we now try a run? Left, 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 down, 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 right, 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 up, 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 up. Okay, so this was just a sample because it's very difficult to classify between background noises as well, and it can be trained a lot. So we have to be more accurate towards the training samples as well, and there is a lot of technical details involved. If you see, maybe I can zoom in and show it to you guys. Just you can see it here. That just for people to understand, sometimes if I'm saying up, why does it go down, and sometimes if I'm saying up, why does it go left? So obviously that's a confidence score, right? So everything which I will say will not always happen, right? So we have to see it from here as well, that these colors which we see now, these are the frequencies of the voice which is getting transmitted over my microphone, right? And what the machine is doing is create like assigning a number to each of these frequencies and then trying to classify it according to what input I've given. Like if I said down, 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 then it will try to match what down, down, down used to look like and what numbers it will look like, and then it matches. So the machine does not recognize sound, but machine tries to match it with the numbers, right? So if there is some sound which gets associated to that number, then it would categorize that as down and it would take it as down, like that.
So
So
Nishan, if it has low confidence, would it mean that you have not given it enough samples, maybe?
so enough sampling, so sample rate can always be huge as well, but still the confidence score would not reach 100. Okay, so for even if the sample data is huge, so if I right now I've given around 200, no, not 200, 20 samples for each command. Okay, which should be enough to for the snake to control, like how I was able to control 1 or 2 times and like not play for 2 hours, but 1 or 2 times just for the demo or understanding purposes, it's okay. And even if I increase the sample size, would not matter more than correct sample size as well, right? So increasing the sample size could not increase the confidence. That is also a learning which we can take, that a huge sample data does not mean more confidence. So how to get more confidence is basically more accuracy in the data. So even if the sample size is a bit lower. So earlier when I made it for the first time, the frequencies were almost similar, like for all the voices, up, command, up, down, right, and everything. Then I had to literally observe the frequencies which we are seeing right now and slice it down to a very small word, because up is a very small word and the frequency graph is very minute for it. And within a 1 second frame of capturing the noise, up doesn't get captured. Everything else also get captured in that time frame, like that. So we have to be a bit more technical about it as well while creating the samples. So
Understood. So one of the questions was that how did you transfer teachable Google Teachable Machine code to the code?
okay, wait, I'll show. I saw the question. I'll be sure how did you connect that? Okay, sure. So once you have created this model, you will get this link after creating the model. Once you created the model, you can once you have created the model, you can use the export link model, and you can transfer it to JSON or anything. And in your JavaScript code, if you want to use this same model, you can use functions for p5.js and ml5.js. So ml5.js is a library which will help you to use models and classify images, audios, and videos. Okay, so the answer is using ml5.js library. So ml5.js library has its own models as well. Also, it allows you to use your own models. Okay, so let's say this is sound classifier. If I write image here, it would classify images as well. Okay, so it has a function for sound classification. It has a function for image classification as well. Here my image model URL is this, the teachable machine URL. Okay, sorry. This is the code. So this is what I showing, that ml5.js library is a sound classifier here, right? If I put image here, it would become an image classifier, and it can then classify images as well. And here I'm trying to get my model from teachable machine. That's why I've created a variable which will store my URL and then bring it here. So ml5.js library is the answer. Okay. That's okay.
So would you be sharing this link with everyone so maybe they can also try?
Yes. So yeah, definitely. No, we can share it after the session, or and anyone can try. So obviously the model, the beauty about the model is that it will not only classify my voice, anyone who can play this can classify their voices accordingly. So you can first also copy this link from here and open it in a new tab and just do a teachable machine run through also. It will show you, like, go to this. Okay, then you can do it in teachable machine as well separately, or you can directly use the play button here and play the snake and food game using your own voice. Yeah. So how to do this using Python. So Python has its own libraries for like how JavaScript has its own library p5.js, right? Python has its own libraries, like you can use Turtle library to create. So basically the first part would be about the sketching part, right? So Turtle can be used for sketching. And then ML5 related libraries are also there. I think Pandas and NumPy would help you to import these models as well. So the same thing can be done using Python as well. Yes, I will share the presentation as well.
Great. We can move ahead, Nishan.
Yeah. So the last part for today, I think from my end was about to how to impart machine learning into this game, and making everyone understand that how sklearn would be a good Python module, or a library for kids to start understanding how machine learning would work. Definitely there are a lot of libraries and a lot of things that can be explored, so we can
Right.
take this as a learning for this class.
Sure. Great. Do we have anything else? I mean, Nishan, or should we be summarizing?
Yeah, we should be summarizing. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I understand, we had limited time. We just had 1 hour to cover a lot of things. So this is what we could cover. It's like an ocean of knowledge right now that we can cover, but we had to pick and choose what we wanted to share in this workshop. So, Nishan picked up what is a little simple and can be easily implemented in the class. So
That's-
right now, let's open it for 10 minutes. Everyone, if you all have any questions, it can be very basic question or maybe highly technical as well. Please feel free to share, because everyone can learn through that question as well. So please, unmute yourself, share your question, or just type your question.
Yes.
If you all are curious, to really do this in the classroom or want to learn something here. Anyone? Jyoti ma'am's hand is continuously raised. So, ma'am, your hand must be hurting. You there? Hello? Okay, no worries. Anyone else? Any questions? Any queries?
Good evening,
Hello,
sir.
sir.
This is Shuri here.
Yes, Maheshwari ma'am.
Sir, right now in for classes from 6th, 7th and all, we are just introducing about machine learning. So we just show them the different activities like the image processing activity, which is there in Google Experiment .ai, right? And then we are showing like rock, paper, scissors, and then we are showing like Duet AI. And so this code also we will be showing them. Okay. But the thing is, the like you said, the Python program is difficult for them, right? So one module, at least one module in the next workshop, a simple module where we can implement for these kind of children, or maybe a higher class grade also, 9th and 10th, if possible, if you could do. Like you're saying, some of the modules in Python can also be implemented, you're saying, right? A simple module, the rock paper scissor game, at least if you could help us in Python program, it would help us to show these children, and we can implement in our class lab too, if possible. It's my request.
Yes. No problem.
Okay.
So just to add on what ma'am said, that and also to relate to what I was trying to say earlier, that this is just one sample example which we tried to showcase here. Also, there are many such projects which we can showcase, or which we can use it in our daily classes and daily lectures, and we would love to share it with you guys and do it with you guys. So rock, paper, scissors is just one example. So definitely we'll take this as an idea and do it next time or in some other session as well whenever possible. But we will definitely get it into the timelines as well.
So first things first, I realize that a lot of y'all don't have access to the community group. So I'm just sharing that link here. So just quickly click and if possible, join through WhatsApp. So next time y'all don't have to register every time, the school does not need to register every time. So I just share the topics, I share feedback, we share the topics, and then there's voting on the topics, and then we select the topic and do it the next time. So this thing would happen on that WhatsApp group because it becomes very difficult on email to take votes. So y'all can just try and use that link. If y'all are not able to use that, y'all can just WhatsApp me if possible. I'll share the link directly with y'all. So
So,
we'll yeah. Go
just a
ahead, go ahead.
second. Yadvendra sir has raised a very nice query that, for younger kids, those was like between 1 to 4, would they be actually able to do something like this without, directly doing some experiments? So yes, I think it's a query for all, and it's an answer for everyone that we can definitely use Scratch to understand programming first, and there are modules, extensions available for Scratch where they can learn things like AI, AR, VR, and they can start learning machine learning from Scratch as well. So if at very young age they can start getting idea, and I think through and me at Hackberry, we already have such lessons modules planned with us, which can directly go on board with the teachers, where they can start doing projects, machine learning projects, AI projects with the students using Scratch for very young age kids as well. Yeah. So yeah, for primary section students, we can try to cover that as well. So there are platforms like Scratch, Thunkable, and other platforms that can help us to do that. So we'll definitely take that into consideration. So like I think through whenever we take a vote of what we have to do next, I think we can include this as one of the topics, that how to implement AI or machine learning to primary section. It can be one of the
Okay.
topics.
Okay,
What
fine.
we also had in mind that since there is a lot of boom of AI related technologies around the world, so we also had a topic in mind that we can share the apps which are already available right now for everyone to see.
Yeah, all the platforms that we as
Yes.
educators can use using AI. So maybe for images, for videos, for a lot of lectures, what is it that we can use as educators in the AI world? So that is something that we were planning, but we'll take a vote with you all, and then we'll decide for the next month. Having said that, do you all have any other questions, or maybe we can then summarize and close for the day? Any other questions? Any feedback? I hope this made sense. You all learned something new today. At least if there is one takeaway, that it would make sense. Supriya ma'am, you have a question? No?
She said okay. She said okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great.
So I would just like to add one closing note sort of thing, or one thought which I have come across. Hello. Yeah, I would like to add one note, closing note, or one thought which I had come across in recent days, that with the advent of this AI coming into curriculums and machine learning coming into curriculums for the kids, what should happen, or what will eventually happen, what should eventually happen is that teachers will not only have to learn or understand how to teach AI or machine learning, but they will also having to learn how to use it in their teaching. So there is a difference in teaching AI and machine learning, but there is also a difference in using AI, machine learning into their teaching process. So both of these things are there, and there's a lot to learn from that as well.
Great. So I think, Nishant, it was a very good session. This was the second time, I kind of went through the machine learning part, but still there was something to learn for me as well.
Yes.
Thank you for putting in the time in developing this content for everyone. For schools, if at all, so we are currently open for partnerships. So in case, you all think that you all would want some help here, so you all can just write an email to me and we can discuss if it is possible for your school or no. Because right now it's almost start of a new academic year and it might not be possible for us to do it for all schools. But we can check from case to case if you all think you all would want some help there. Okay, so you all have my email ID and we can connect there. I'll be sharing one feedback form with all of y'all. The importance of the feedback form is that your name should be correct there because we'll be generating certificates from that feedback form. Okay, so on the same email ID and also on the WhatsApp group, I'll be sharing that link to the feedback form. So just ensure that your name is correctly spelled. Okay, so with that, thank you everyone. Can we take a picture, Nishant, a screenshot? So for just for a couple of seconds, we all can just switch on our cameras and we can take a small picture for our repository. It's nice to see everyone. Okay, everyone on. We are, so if anyone has gone for a quick grooming, then it's okay. We can wait for a minute. No, I think we are all here. Nishant, you can see everyone. Great. Or you are on mute, Nishant. Are we done?
Thank you. Thank you. Done. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time. Be very active on the WhatsApp group and share, whatever y'all think can help others also in the community, so that everyone can learn from y'all. Yeah, I think y'all are very active. I've interacted with multiple of y'all, Yadvinder sir and ma'am as well. So I know that y'all are superb in your space. So keep sharing whatever y'all have to share, so that everyone can learn from y'all. Yeah. So with that, thank you everyone for your time, and we meet next month again. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Vijay Lakshmi ma'am, I think you just joined, right? Have you just joined, Vijay ma'am? Okay. Nishant will end the meeting.
Yeah, sure.